Все получилось. Теперь ты в прямом эфире, зрители уже могут тебя видеть и слышать. Убедись, что камера не принимает. Пару приветственных слов. Ты можешь поприветствовать зрителей, сказать им, что стрим начался, и...
This every 10 minutes, and I'm focused on critical infrastructure, and we proposed a water utility to solve that issue. I stepped away from a successful career because the city I love is slipping away. I'm here to earn your trust, your vote, and the opportunity to rebuild Calgary. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our candidates. You guys are awesome at keeping the time. That was great. Thank you. I'm going to re-explain how we're going to do this because maybe I made it sound more confusing than it was. There's 4 questions. You will each get a chance to answer 2 of the questions. The first question is on housing. We're going full on Calgary here with our cowboy hat. I have all the names in here. I'm going to draw the first 4 and you can answer in this order. How about that? So Brian goes first, then Jeremy, then Sarah, and then Sonia.
I got that. Understood.
Brian, Jeremy, Sarah, Sonia, that's the order that you go in. Here's your question about housing, and you'll have 2 minutes to answer. Housing in Calgary is in very short supply for those on fixed incomes or in unsafe neighborhoods. Do you have a creative idea or a solution to these challenges for older adults in Calgary?
This is great. You get to jump right on your feet. So I've spoken to many Calgary seniors, people who built this city, raised families here, and volunteered in our neighborhoods. And what I keep hearing is that they feel left behind. Seniors who have worked their whole lives are now forced to choose between rent, medication, and groceries. Others are staying in homes they can't maintain because there's nowhere affordable, accessible, and safe to move in their own communities. That's not the Calgary we want to be. The city has spent years studying this issue, but studies don't build homes. We need results. As mayor, I'll make it easier and faster to build affordable and accessible housing, especially for seniors, by cutting red tape that slows down good projects and offering incentives for developments that include senior units near transit, health services, and community hubs. We'll partner with nonprofits, co-ops, and private developers to repurpose underused city land, including surplus buildings and parking lots for seniors housing. These are projects that can move forward now, not 5 years from now. And we'll advocate for fair provincial and federal partnerships, real cost sharing, not cost shifting, so Calgary gets its fair share of housing dollars that meet the needs of aging Calgarians. Every Calgarian deserves to age with dignity and independence, close to family and friends. Affordable housing for seniors isn't charity, it's respect. That's why we're proposing building age-friendly communities, expanding affordable, accessible housing options for seniors, including secondary suites near transit, accelerated approvals, streamlining city permitting to get seniors housing built faster, supporting aging in place by offering retrofit incentives for accessibility like ramps and lifts. Thank you so much. I'm Brian Thiessen.
Thank you, Brian. Jeremy's next.
Thank you. I think a lot about housing, but probably not for the reason you think. I had to move at least 6 times before I finished grade 12. I've constantly lived with a fear of housing precariousness, and I know what it's like for seniors today to be feeling like you're being priced out of the homes that you work so hard to be able to build. In my time as a city councillor, I was for 4 years on the Calgary Housing Company. I worked very hard to advocate for significant investment in capital to be given to affordable housing, as well as seniors in assisted living. I worked closely with the Kirby Centre on a site near the Heritage LRT station that unfortunately did not earn the support of the rest of the council to advance. And I'd like to continue to get Calgary to deploy more of the land that we have. Obviously, we don't have all of the money to be able to provide the type of investment that the federal government can, but we can provide a lot of great locations across the city. Not just that Haddon Road site, but also think like areas like the Westbrook LRT station. I'm also calling for a fully funded family and community support services surge over the next 10 years. The operational dollars are absolutely critical to ensure that we work in partnership, not the city going it alone through CHC, but also in partnership with the incredible organizations that we have out there. And leaning on the experience from the nonprofit sector. We know that community associations and other incredible organizations locally are building that infrastructure, that investment, that capacity to be able to ensure that seniors can continue to be able to age in place, and that we're funding those investments, particularly around accessibility, to ensure that seniors can stay longer in the homes that they built. And I think by taking a targeted approach, by repealing blanket rezoning and instead moving to a replacement approach, focusing the density and the housing closest to activity centers like LRT, like education, like employment, we can ensure that absolutely every single Calgarian, whether you were a kid like me growing up in Dover or a senior in Brayside, that you have that access to housing that's safe and affordable and attainable. Thank you.
Just want to ask the candidate something. Do you want a 10-second warning before I get to? Are you getting one?
She's doing it
Oh,
right now.
okay, that's perfect.
I've watched it.
Okay, perfect. So you all can see Jack in the yellow there. Yes, she'll give you the 10-second warning. Okay, Sarah, you're next.
So maybe I'll start by sharing a little anecdote. So I have a 6-year-old son. He has his first job this weekend, looking after actually the neighbor who lives across from us, a senior woman. She has 2 cats, Betty and Bo. Ben is earning $10 a day by visiting the cats, feeding them, taking care of them in all the ways. You know, when I think about housing, this is the kind of housing that I think about. Being able to be in communities where my neighbor Karen and I can have that kind of relationship. She doesn't have grandchildren, but now she has the ability to interact with mine. That's what community means to me, and I think that's how we build, that's the lens that we need to think about when putting housing into place. I don't think that we should have to incentivize the private sector to do the right thing. But I guess we do. So making it, if they would want to build something in Calgary, we need to make sure that they're doing the right thing by the community, not just looking out for their bottom line. Buildings must include housing at all price levels. When we talk about affordability, affordability is not a $700,000 home. Affordability to a lot of people might actually be $200,000. We need a range of housing at a range of pricing, not just for people or seniors who might want to live independently, but also for larger families or single moms, like the house that I grew up in. We have to think about these things because just leaving it to the private sector, unfortunately, is just not going to happen. I also believe that we do need to address the blanket rezoning. The way I think about it is not being a patchwork. It should be a patchwork quilt. And just as a last thing, I will also advocate to the provincial government that we remain in the CPP, so you keep your money.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. So let's talk a little bit about blanket rezoning. I talked about one of my first things to do is repeal it, and it's not making houses more affordable. I told you a little bit about my parents being I'll call it price out of the market. And my dad actually was a home builder, so it's very ironic that he was priced out of the market and living somewhere. But when it comes to housing, we don't actually see a crisis that's about to jump in front of us, and with my lived experience, I've shared the story with the province. We have a housing crisis coming for seniors. And I can tell you, my dad spent 8 weeks in the hospital for first bed. And so there were no beds available for him, and he was going to assisted living, then he ended up in long-term. And I shared the story with the province because I said, you're also pricing seniors out of living in these facilities because they range from $400 a month to $10,000 a month. I cannot afford $10,000 a month. I don't think anyone else can. So what we need to do is come together and build that better relationship. The city of Calgary has a lot of land. We have land on outside of the city. We have land closer to C-train tracks. And I understand the change. My parents don't like change and they want to age in place. So keeping them where they want to live is really critical. And making sure that we remove the barrier to entry for them is important. And so what I would say is when the city has the land, let's work with the province. Let's make sure that we can build in transit-oriented developments like here so that when you get off those platforms, you're in your community, you're at your doctor's appointments, and you're working together. So the city of Calgary can't technically build the buildings for you, but we sure can get out of the way and provide the province the land to give you. Now, the other thing that I will continue to advocate is more subsidy when it comes to medicine, when it comes to making sure that you are getting subsidized for some of the things that I know you have to pay for that are extra, which really, I don't really think that you should be paying for. And one of the other things that I will be, hopefully, if I'm elected, is I would like to see seniors not have to pay for transit. You deserve to be able to drive around or be around the city and not pay for it. Thank you.
That was 2 minutes exactly. I was just about to think of that. Okay, our second question is about food security. And we will answer in this order. Jagger, Grant, and Jyoti. The question is, from the attendance of older adults at our Unison market and similar programs, we know that many older adults in Calgary experience food insecurity. How could you influence the solution to this issue? Jagger.
Thank you very much. So around food security, we do have great partners like the Calgary Food. Oh, thank you very much. We do have great partners like the Calgary Food Bank, and one of the great things that they're doing is reducing the stigma. When I talked to the Calgary Food Bank, about 28% of the people who were using the services there were already fully employed. And one of the beautiful things they're doing is they're giving choice to people. People can get to choose. So it's when people are, because we are in a situation where some people do need support when it comes to food and they need access to quality food, we actually find for seniors as we age as humans, when we're given choice, it's actually much better for us. So when we studied seniors residents, when people were in assisted living, the fact of giving them an option between two different things in their own programming and in their own life actually extended their lives significantly. It was a revelation. So one thing what we're going to be doing is working with our partners, and they have all these boards, commissions, and committees. And so I'm going to be simplifying it so the city can have an oversight of the necessities of life. And one thing that we're going to be doing is working with those external partners so that we have access for food for everybody, because there really is enough food for everybody in Calgary. I can tell you there's a lot of waste, so we'll get you the food. Thank you.
So it's always going to be hard for me to do this because my grandpa, he was like, he's my people. Basically, I think obviously food security, I think seniors and people like yourselves obviously built this whole community. So when it comes to subsidizing and to helping out, you guys are the core of who we should be doing that for. You have dedicated your lives and sacrificed for all of us. So it's up to us to do the same for you. So I definitely think that we should put more money into programs like Meals on Wheels, also SNAP programs, and allowing those SNAP programs to be more robust. So basically, a lot of times when seniors are getting in those programs, it's not super healthy food. It's actually more like canned goods and stuff like that, which we all know is not good for us. Subsidizing more family and like farmer markets for the elderly communities, they can actually get fresh and good food. I got this. I think so. And creating expanded grocery service programs so that actually people can get their services better and have work with them so they can be able to order online, which is a lot of us do that, but it's a difficult thing for seniors to do. So we can actually help with those programs and initiate that so that you're able to get the food in your house delivered for you, which would then also take some of the pressure off of programs like Meals on Wheels and SNAP, with allowing you the ability and the dignity of doing it by yourself, which I know is super important. Thank you very much.
Apologies, we think this is a battery issue. Joe.
Thanks very much. And I think it's important to understand this issue from lived experience. And there are times that people say council's dysfunctional, but I will tell you this. Councilor Sharp and I spend a lot of time together on council. And we both understand that we are taking care of aging parents. Just as she has shared her story with you, I will tell you, I'm watching my mom age every day. We share a home. She's turning 87 in a couple of months, and she's lived in a home with me for 22 years. So I've watched what happens. I watched how she aged quickly after my dad passed very unexpectedly. I watched her physical decline, and then I watched emotional decline. She used to love to cook. She does not enjoy cooking anymore. The joy she got from it is gone because dad's gone. So it's important to understand that all of this is deeply personal. I don't want to pitch policies to you. I want to talk to you about what it feels like to age. And as I'm watching my mom go through what she's going through, I'm seeing community step up for her. I'm watching my husband make stuff he never used to make just to ensure that mom's eating something she loves. I'm watching her faith community package up the meals that they prepare at the congregation and send enough home for her for the week. That's the kind of pulling together that we need to do. Food security is real, and it hits seniors the most, especially seniors that are living in isolation. I'm pretty blessed to be able to spend time with my mom and watch what's happening in her life, but not everybody has that luxury. So I think we need to do more programs. Remember how we had Block Watch and we look out for each other's kids? What about a Block Watch system that looks out for our seniors? What about more co-op living so that you can have people preparing meals with and for each other? What about speaking to the restaurant community and the great chefs in our city to create a program where seniors can get healthy meals? And what about using our fair entry program and partnering with grocers to ensure that you can get access to food at a lower cost based on your income and your need? Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to our second set of questions. The first question has to do with health issues, and we'll have 3 people tackle this time. Sonia first, then Grant, then Jagger. The question: in view of the recent changes regarding access to COVID immunizations and eye care, as well as the challenges to access health services, how will you, as the Mayor of Calgary, advocate to the provincial government to address these serious healthcare concerns? Sonia.
Thank you very much for the question. I already have, obviously, with everything I'm going through with my parents. The fact that my dad wasn't even covered for some of the medication that he had to take, and if he didn't take it, he would die faster, is just absurd. You come into this world with dignity, you need to leave with dignity. And so I fought for, with him on Blue Cross and making sure he had the coverage, but I have to pay for it because he doesn't have the money to pay for it. So I have had these conversations with the ministers, letting them know that this is real stuff happening and our real life experience. And I will just say a quick shout out to Mayor Deck. She has my back at council when I had to leave for my dad and my mom, because we get it. We understand these are things that come into your life, and we might be politicians, but we are real people and we care about our family. And so when we talk about some of these medications like COVID and flu, I'm my dad's agent, so I make sure that he gets everything he needs. But if I'm not around, who's gonna make sure? My mom is doing her best she can as well, making sure she's getting the immunizations she's getting, but she has to pay for the pneumonia shot. So these are things that you shouldn't have to pay for. You have given your whole life to this city, to this province, and you should get it for free. So I will continue to advocate for you, and I know that I understand everything that's going on, and that our healthcare system needs to be a little bit better. And when I remember being in the hospital with my dad for those 8 weeks before he got first bed, all I kept hoping was that he was not going to die there. And so these are the things I thought about as, you know, watching my dad, who spent his whole life taking care of 4 kids. And I couldn't imagine what he would have thought if I was in that hospital bed. So is it you can be your best advocate? And what I would say to those that are listening that have parents or grandparents, you need to step up for them, because they need the support and advocacy if they can't give it for themselves to their doctors and to the provincial and federal government. Thank you.
So this is something I know really well. I worked as an executive director for a nonprofit, and one of our major parts was called Forbidden Nuts, which was based on helping older people around the community, be able to get them out and be active. And one of the major core parts of that was we found that elderly people have a difficulty trying to sign up for things because they make things so complicated and convoluted. And so you're looking at things going, how does this even work? And one of our major aspects was to actually get people into the house where they can actually help you sign up for these easier programs and services. That way then you can actually get the services that you need right away. Also, I think supporting like mobile home-based health services, so people can actually come into your home. That's something that we should definitely activate and have that be part of that system to be more robust, so that that system comes to you and you don't have to figure out how to work through transit, which sometimes doesn't work for you very well, which I do agree as well. Free transit for everybody, I mean, that should be the way it is for you guys. You've sacrificed enough. And then those, again, those major robust systems so that you guys can navigate all the bureaucracy that you have to go through. We have AI systems that can do that and make it easier for you. So we've got your back.
All right, so who here is currently waiting for a specialist appointment for over a month in the audience? I think just about everybody. So we currently have a crony capitalist system, right? We have a private healthcare system. Most of our healthcare in Alberta is private, and it's done really, really poorly, right? These are not very good businesses, because when the physicians go to school, they're really not taught how to do business, and they just see other people doing what looks successful, because it looks successful, it looks nice. They have these nice fancy clinics, or they're making all this money, but really, they're very stressed out, and these physicians are working too much. And so the best friend when it comes to our healthcare in Alberta right now is our pharmacists. Legally, they have the right to prescribe almost any medication, and so we're going to be empowering pharmacists and advocating for them on a provincial level. When it comes to eye care, it's glasses for people. It's very accessible. They do this in third world countries. We shouldn't be paying too much for eyeglasses. If you need them, hearing aids, there are services, but again, they can be a little bit expensive, so we need to look at that. And in terms of taking care of your own health, it really comes down to daily exercise and nutrition. And working with patients in terms of daily exercise for adherence to these programs, it really comes around a social aspect. And what we're going to be doing is having a new system for engaging citizens right from the community level all the way up to the board level in using a new committee, revamping the entire committees, commissions, and board systems, so that in your community, we're going to start to foster actually daily exercise programs. And you're going to need to have protein, and we're going to be getting all these firefighters and police officers, we're going to be getting them really high quality protein powder. The only place I can get the best stuff from right now is New Zealand, so we're going to be working with some of the farmers in our province to get protein powder. We're going to get really great products in Calgary for seniors, so that you can actually have the muscles, because your muscles are really your organ of longevity for mobility. Thank you very much.
Our final topic today is elder abuse in its various forms. So our last 4 candidates to speak on this will be in this order: Jyoti Gondek, Brian Thiessen, Sarah Elder, and Jeremy Farkas. Jody, we'll begin with you. The question is, sorry, I better give you the question first.
Hold your horse.
Financial scams directed at older adults are seriously increasing. We've been told by the Calgary Police Service Fraud Unit that they are backlogged on ability and personnel to deal with all of the complaints. Our shelter for older adults experiencing abuse of all types regularly turns away those seeking safety. What is your position on increasing financial support for them and all the agencies and organizations in Calgary that deal with this and all types of abuse of older adults?
Thanks very much for that question. And I think I was probably a little bit unaware of the different types of abuse that elders face until my dad passed. And when he did, and I had to look after mom's finances and set her up for success on her own because their accounts were always tied together, I began to see all the pitfalls where seniors who didn't have someone loving or supportive with them could fall into the trap of financial abuse. It is easy to drain someone's bank account. It is super easy to take someone's credit card and use it in a way that was not intended. Financial abuse of elders is rampant. The scams that we're seeing are absolutely abhorrent. And I cannot believe that there are people in this world that think it's okay to do those things, but apparently they exist. Physical abuse of anybody is unconscionable, but seniors and children, my goodness, the fact that this still exists is ridiculous in our society. And let's not forget the emotional abuse. And the emotional abuse often comes tied to things like making sure that you leave a senior to be isolated. And when you leave that person in isolation, desperation kicks in. And they will trust anybody that comes along to give them that little bit of love and a little bit of companionship. So I think one of the most important things we can do is make sure we have more housing for seniors where people can be co-located. Co-op housing is one of the best things and best ways for people to look out for each other. We absolutely need it for seniors. And imagine having mixed housing in that program where there are people like me and people on the stage who care looking out for you. That's the type of thing that we need to address, and we need to crack down hard on people who are abusing seniors in any way. And I would welcome any ideas that Calgary Police Service has and the criminal justice system has. We've got to work together to make sure that any abuse of seniors is not tolerated, and we need to do it in partnership with the provincial and federal government. Thank you.
You know, it struck me as I was sitting here listening to the other candidates, how many of us are in that in-between spot where we're taking care of our kids and we're taking care of our parents who used to take care of us. You know, my family's no different. We've gone through, my mother-in-law was actually one of my favorite people in the world, Gigi, we called her, and I'm convinced she convinced my wife to marry me. So, but it wasn't just that, why I loved her. And we went through her decline, hospice care, and her passing away. My father-in-law just moved from his home of 60 years in Lake Buena Vista to a retirement home in the neighborhood, so I understand the issues there. And my parents are in their 80s. My father is my mom's primary caregiver. She was a nurse for 50 years and took care of others. And now my father, who is an engineer, is taking care of my mom. She's, you know, a cancer survivor and broken her hip 3 times. So I have a really good feeling of what people are facing. But, you know, on elder abuse, I had the opportunity when I chaired the police commission to see the elder abuse response team of CPS in action, as well as learn from the Alberta Elder Abuse Network what was going on. And then I got to see it firsthand. My sister-in-law was actually at my father-in-law Don's house when he got a call from my son asking for immediate financial support because he was in jail. And if you'd met my son, you'd understand how funny that was, but he's a great kid. And my sister-in-law, you know, asked for the phone, but we saw firsthand how easy that scam was. And you know, they were talking to my wife, who was sitting beside my son at the time, so they were able to clearly clear it up, but they used AI to mimic his voice. Nearly 1 in 10 seniors report some abuse. and we've got all kinds of policies to solve it.
Thank you, Brian. Sarah?
So I really think that the role of the municipal government in tackling elder abuse, I'd like to see a focus on public awareness campaigns. And I don't mean public awareness campaigns about elder abuse and social media scams on phones or computers, but actually in real people, educating you in person where you are so that you can be aware of these very real things and how they work and what people will say to gain your trust, but to ultimately take advantage of you. We seem to think that everything happens on the line, and I mean, for a lot of people it does, but not everyone is in those spaces. So making you aware of these issues where you are is really important. So doing information sessions, for example, in libraries, in community centers, in seniors' homes, at the Kirby Center. I think we've gotten too far away from what really matters most, and that's actually people talking to people. And so this is one area where we do need to spend time, because it is a tragedy that we allow things like this to happen in our communities. We also have a lot of really amazing organizations in our city with young people. We need to create better alliances and partnerships between youth and seniors in our community, so that, and I can speak as my husband was, unfortunately, my father-in-law recently passed away, but he is the tech support for our family. You know, if his parents had an issue, it would be Allie that would be doing it. But, you know, things like this, creative solutions to reduce barriers so that you can actually engage with people on things like this. It's really, really important that we keep talking about these. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and finally, Jeremy.
You know, I will never forget about 4 years ago when I got a call in the middle of the night from my granny Liz, and she asked me, "What is a Bitcoin and how do I buy one?" She was given a call basically saying that my brother had been in a bad accident and that he needed a Bitcoin in order to be able to be released from the hospital, right? The level of sophistication is incredible. I was just at an event as well with the Punjabi community the other night, and I saw somebody rush out of the hall in tears. The sophistication, the essential artificial intelligence had crafted a voice message of that person's grandson, basically in a similar sort of extortion measure. So for me as a Calgary Police Commissioner, I worked very closely with the CPS as well as to advocate for a senior safety network. During COVID as well, we saw that there's significant gaps that had arisen, not just in around safety, not just food insecurity, but also around the isolation that seniors were facing. So my plan around this is two-pronged. It's firstly around enforcement. We know that it's a relatively few amount of individuals here locally who are responsible for the vast amounts of extortion threats on seniors in particular. We need greater sentencing and bail reforms to be able to address that. We need greater investment in our Calgary Police Service and their investigative capacity as well to be able to hold local criminals accountable. And we also need to invest in the support, in the education around that. And it's not just public awareness campaigns, which are essential, but it's the support for our local agencies. It's our local partners like community associations who can help fill the gaps and to be able to address some of the challenges that we're facing around isolation in particular. It means investment in greater housing, but it also means dollars. We've not seen the level of investment come from this mayor and council commensurate to the need. So we need to continue to invest in family and community support services and ensure that these agencies who are out there doing the work can continue to do so to protect our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Let's just give our candidates a hand here. That wraps up our questions. We really appreciate you coming and speaking to the issues that are most important to seniors today as they've articulated to us. We'd like to give everybody 2 minutes to make their closing statements, so we will go in reverse order to what we started, and we'll begin with Brian Keeson.
I found my pen. I love this city. It's where I built my career, met my wife, and raised our family. But Calgary is in trouble. For over a decade, we were ranked in the top 5 cities in the world to live. Now we're 18th and falling fast. That's not just a statistic, that's a warning. This election, you face a clear choice. 4 more years of a mayor who will not listen and cannot lead. Or 1 more of Danielle Smith's 3 amigos, Farkas, Sharp, and Davison, who will answer to the premier, whether it's wrecking transit, defunding our police, or raising your taxes. But there is a third option, a mayor with a public safety plan that is endorsed by the police and social agencies. A mayor focused on housing you can afford, transit you can trust, and infrastructure you can rely on. A mayor who will cut red tape and support the entrepreneurs, artists, and small businesses that drive our economy. I'm not a career politician, and I won't pretend to be one. I'm not used to doing one thing and having a record, then smooth talking my way out of that record. But Calgary doesn't need another smooth talker. It needs real leadership. I have experience, I have the plan, and I have the resolve to fight for this city. The path forward is clear. The choice is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Please welcome Sonia.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. And first, I just want to say thanks to my opponents. I think we all learned something about each other today that we don't get to share at most of these. So I'm humbled to learn more about you, and I hope you were humbled to learn more about me and what shapes who we are, right? And I think that's important. We're still people. But in closing, I want to just say a couple of things that, you know, I told you at the beginning I'm about my to-do list. And so I have seen City Hall from a business perspective. I worked inside for 20 years. I've now been a member of council for 4 years. And Calgarians care about the city. You care about our city. And I don't feel like we're on the right track. And the job of a mayor is to fix that. And we need to lead 14 people to get that work done. I'm going to just refresh the to-do list I talked about at the beginning. Repeal vacant rezoning, make our city safer, includes the downtown, transit, and to all our communities. I myself and my community's first team have been endorsed by the Calgary Police Association on our pledge. Fixing the budget to lower taxes, because that's really about affordability. Addressing serious governance issues with senior administration of City Hall, because if you don't do that, nothing will get done. And resetting our relationship with the provincial government. A lot of things we talked about today has to do with them. And so we need to have a good relationship. We might not always agree on everything, but respect is critical. And most importantly, representing everything that you also want us to represent and advocate for. I share my to-do list with 9 other people, team members who are candidates running under the community's first banner. We're not a formal political party. We are not bound by federal or provincial legislation, we don't report to other levels of government. We do not have a party whip. All our candidates value their independence to represent their wards, and rather, as I said, we're not a party. We came together as a team. We share values, principles, and all support to the to-do list that we have developed. We know that it takes 8 votes to get things done at City Hall. And I'm Sonia Sharp, and I'm running to create an affordable, safe city that works, and where you can trust City Hall again. Thank you.
I kind of want to take this off. I'm just more comfortable when I'm actually walking around. So I guess the major 2 things that got me running in the first place and trying to address people like yourselves is money in politics and a regular voice that's not politics as usual. We've always done the same thing where we put the people in power that we feel are the ones that are given to us and we don't get any other options. But there are other options out there. There's regular, just working class people like yourselves that want to make a difference. And want to lead with their heart. I want to put you first. When it comes to money, the amount of money that's going to be spent on this election is anywhere between $5 and $6 million. That's insane. The idea that that's going to give any working-class people a voice is not going to happen. And what happens does that look like in the next 4 years, 8 years, or 12 years? Are you ever going to have a voice? I think now is the time that we stand up for regular people, for working-class people, and say we're done with that. We're done with politics as usual. Let's put in somebody there who all they want to do is sacrifice. And with sacrifice, that's all they ever know. That's all that this job is entailed. The civil servant, which is just a servant of the people for sacrifice. And for me, I don't really care where the money goes for them and who they owe that money to. I know that for me, I owe it to you guys, and I would do that for free.
Thank you, Grant. Mayor.
Thank you. So where we left off when I first started to talk to you is to share with my vision, and now I'm going to share with you the strategy, because the vision leads strategy. And so I have plans every single month. We're going to be live every Tuesday and Thursday. We're starting with legal on January, land in February, finance in March, water in April, people in May, July will be for transportation, August will be for operations, September will be for waste, October for our communications, November for the Calgary Protection Force. I didn't get to address housing, but through reducing the tax and eliminating wasteful spending by implementing and incentivizing landlords for good behaviors, as well as managing our subsidiaries like Calgary Housing, the biggest landlord in Calgary, we can drive down the price of housing for seniors, as well as safety will go up. In terms of cybersecurity, it's not just seniors who are at risk. With new quantum technologies, everybody in this room is at risk very soon. We have new innovations with legal innovations that are happening on a federal level that are going to allow us to integrate with our 300 resilience officers to protect you in Calgary, as well as maintaining and hardening critical infrastructure within the city to help maintain some of our new innovations at the University of Calgary, as well as our dark fiber network. In terms of the schedule, what we're also going to be looking at is community commissions, boards, and communities. This is only going to cost about a small loan of $5 million, but we're going to be having lunch, okay, our dinner, Fridays at 6:30 p.m. for about 200 subcommittees. These are in each community. That was forgotten. And we're going to make sure that we actually have committees that can be run properly. We're going to use existing resources like our NPCs and expand them to actually integrate with subcommittees, as well as board committees, so that when you have a counselor, they're actually going to be in your community listening to them. And I'm here to listen to you afterwards. I'll love to talk to you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jigger. Jody, your final thoughts.
Thank you very much to today's organizers and my fellow candidates, and to everyone who's come out to join this important conversation about the future of our city. Debates like this one are essential to democracy, and it helps you see who amongst us is offering solutions and who is simply offering sound bites. Over the past 4 years, I have been able to prove to you what leadership looks like. On purpose, what can we deliver? We tackled the housing crisis with bold strategies. We secured billions of dollars in investment into our city. We revitalized downtown, and we advanced major infrastructure projects like the Green Line. We finally got shovels in the ground, and we expanded affordable transit for everyone. We also led through crisis. I can tell you that going through global economic threats and the water feeder main emergency taught me a lot about how to be a better communicator and make sure that I am engaged with you and letting you know what's happening. And I know the work is far from over, especially when it comes to the work we have to do for seniors. We need to champion more housing for seniors and more access to important food programs. We need to pay more attention to seniors' lived experiences so we can advocate harder for better access to healthcare and to make sure that you're getting the low-income supports that you need. On October 20th, I'm asking for your support to keep building Calgary's future on purpose with you at the center of it. This is all very personal for me, and I'm here to work hard for you. Together, let's write Calgary's next chapter, one that is of growth and resilience, opportunity and support for every one of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jody. Jeremy.
Thank you. I had the opportunity for some speaking with everybody on the way in here, and I had some prepared remarks, but I thought I'd talk about a topic that Dennis, Moira, Sharon, and others have raised with me, but the importance of quality representation. This election matters for a number of reasons, but one of which is we are being asked as voters to potentially endorse the intrusion of the provincial government by virtue of political parties at the municipal level. One of us on the stage has actually been endorsed by David Parker in Take Back Alberta, demonstrating the amount of money and the interest that this election has attracted from a lot of folks. For me, as a former member of council, what I really appreciated was that I could pick up the phone. I could talk to folks on a practical level, build the coalitions across party lines to get things done for Calgarians. So you can take a look at my plans in terms of safety, mobility, housing, and everything else. But my vision for mayor is to be the leader, to be able to bring together folks, to be able to work across party lines, to be able to work with a conservative premier, work with a liberal prime minister, keep Calgary and Alberta in Canada, work to actually address the issues that matter to Calgarians. And that's really what this election's about. We're going to be talking about similar issues, but for all of you, the question is, who do you actually trust to follow through? Who has kept their promises every step of the way? I've made mistakes and I've learned from them. I've led through challenge and change. I've had a lot of opportunities to be able to grow as a leader and to bring that social sector nonprofit experience to the table to be able to build that team. And that's what this council needs. They need a mayor who's going to be able to work with a historic amount of turnover. We're going to have 10 plus brand new city councilors. And myself, having been one of the youngest city councilors, I know what it's like to be in that situation, drinking out of the fire hose. I want to be more so the coach. I want to be the quarterback. I want to be the mentor. Everything that the team may need at the point in time to be able to get things across the line. So my name is Jeremy Farkas, and I'm asking for your support to do something that no one else on the stage can, to prevent a political party takeover of City Council, to change the direction of City Hall, and ensure that Calgary lives up to our promise.
Thank you, Jeremy and Sarah.
Well, you've managed to make your way through all of this, so thank you for sticking with us. There's so much at stake in this election. I think you realize that based on what you've heard and how you've heard it from some of the people on this stage. I hope you really listen to who is talking to you in a way that makes you feel seen and heard and does not leave us in a place worse than we are now. We do not need the division, the political polarization, and the American style politics in our communities in Calgary, in Alberta, or Canada. You have the ability to reject that in this election by saying no to this. I have different things. It was really hard to listen to you, Brian, specifically, to come so hard after Mayor Gondek and our community. I really have to ask, is the race to the bottom, it feels like, honestly, in terms of where we're going. We have to do better. And that starts by us coming together and saying no to this division. The only way that we get through this is together. We are one world, one community, one planet. As a mother, and as grandparents, as Calgarians, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. It is too much. We cannot keep going down this path. So no matter who you vote for, please keep it in mind that there's so much at stake.
Thank you, Sarah. And could we just give all of our candidates a hand once again for coming? I'm going to move to Larry this morning.
I work here, so I get down the last one. Jackie, can you stand up? No. The woman in the back saying no, please Jacqueline Polker. She's a member of our board who is responsible for organizing this event. So I'd like to thank Jackie and all of our board members. Our board members are all volunteers, so they volunteer their time to ensure that we deliver services to seniors like this event today. So thank you for all of your work. Our volunteers and board members, many of them are in red Unison shirts. So I'd like to thank them. I'd also like to thank all the candidates for being here to address seniors' concerns. And Kara, as the moderator, thank you for them that are volunteering your time as well. Now, some of the candidates have other engagements to rush to, but some of the candidates have also agreed to kind of mull around. And we haven't booked this gym for the afternoon, so if you want to hang around and speak personally to some of the candidates, there'll be time to do that. No rushing out the door. So thank you all for coming today, and thank you for voting.
Haven't decided. I don't know. Figure it out. Hope so. Yeah.
Great job.